Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Engineering Project Management Podcast. Now again, this is the podcast that is dedicated to helping project managers to sharpen their project management skills. So I'm going to be your host today. Once again, my name is Matt Douglas with EMI, and in this episode of the Engineering Project Management Podcast, and in celebration of Black History Month, I'm going to be joined today by none other than Tiffani Teachey. Now Tiffani is a senior mechanical engineer, a TEDx speaker, and also a creator of many children's STEM books. So today we're going to be diving into a crucial topic: how to be successful as a Black engineer in the AEC industry. But before we get started with that, here's a quick word from our sponsor for this episode, PPI, the Kaplan Company.
Before we dive in, we'd like to recognize our sponsor for this episode, PPI, a leader in engineering exam prep for the FE and PE exams. PPI provides expert prep courses and study resources designed to help you pass the FE and PE exams the first time. PPI's live online courses include hours of lectures, problem-solving demonstrations, exam strategy sessions, office hours, and a passing guarantee. Check out PPI today at ppi2pass.com to see all the options available for FE and PE exam prep. Now let's dive into today's episode.
All right, everybody, we're back here with our PM Conversation of the Week. We have Tiffani Teachey here with us. Tiffani, it's great to have you. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to the discussion.
Good. So let's go ahead and kick off things by just talking about the importance of certifications as a Black person in general, and also as an engineer, especially like in the AEC industry that we're in. How do you think that these factors contribute to our success as engineers?
Absolutely. Certifications and licensing are key. They not only validate our expertise, but they also open doors for more opportunities. It makes you stand out, being able to have those certifications or licensing, you against others. You'll be able to sign off on different things. You're able to, it builds the credibility side of things. So in the industries itself, with what we deal with, I think it's important to have those certifications and licensing.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And, just part of my experience, just doing just general job searches, especially in our industry with AEC, sometimes there's just a ceiling that just becomes reached where you can't go above that because of the licensing issues. Now, there are some industries that you can get into where you don't have to have like a PE license per se, or even a PMP, but sometimes that kind of keeps you within like either the design role or like a lower role. Like if you're trying to get into like a project management position, it does become a little bit harder because it's much like a doctor, like you have to be certified. You are responsible for other people's lives. And with that, there's just a level of accountability that you have to have and responsibility that you have to have too. So getting that license is definitely key. Even if you don't think that you need it. I mean, just taking the study hours, the 8-hour exam that you take in order for you to get your PE, I think that it's well worth it because of the amount of opportunities that you can have. You can pretty much go anywhere. And also just what you want to be able to not just come into a room and not exactly know what you're talking about. And sometimes the experience that you get by taking the PE or taking on those different, job descriptions or different projects will actually prepare you for career moves that you're going to have later on in your life. So let's get on to the next point and let's talk about the role of organizations. Right. Tiffani?
What about the role of organizations like National Society of Black Engineers, NSBE for short? Matt, now I have a passion with this because I'm a lifetime member of NSBE. So how have you found, being a part of such groups beneficial in your career?
Well, first off, congratulations on being a life member in NSBE. I didn't know that, but for me, I do aspire to be a lifetime member in NSBE. And just because I think that NSBE really got me started on my journey to being a successful engineer. Now, I went to Morgan State University back home in Baltimore, Maryland, and NSBE was a huge part of the engineering career there. We had a huge organization. A lot of people were involved in it. And it really got us the opportunity to get out there and network as an undergraduate, which is, I think it was very important because oftentimes in school, they don't teach you enough there. Like you can get the material, and you can get the stuff that you actually need in order for you to have the actual education behind being an engineer. But the networking opportunities are just completely different. And those are things that you have to seek outside of the actual four walls of your school. So it was there I learned how to conduct meetings, like learning about Robert's Rules of Order and, just different business acumen that's there. I remember, I think it was maybe 2011 or 12. And at this point in time, but poor college kid, of course, like many other folks out here. And I'm just mixing and matching suits and stuff, trying to make things work. I remember that I had just kind of circled around the interview tables, just talking to different people. And I got practice with it. And I think that that's something that's really important to get the practice with talking to people that are in a higher position of you so you can see what language they're actually speaking. You can get yourself prepared to actually have those big time meetings when you actually do get started in your career. And on top of that, just getting to know certain people, you might actually have an easier way in the door just because somebody knows you. I mean, think about how many people are looking for jobs on a day-to-day basis now. Then you have to compare yourself and see like what actually makes you stand out from the crowd. It's I think what's the saying? It's not what you know, it's who you know. Obviously, like I don't know why that didn't come a little bit closer or sooner, but I think that that's the true point. Just knowing a good amount of people that you have in your network, no matter what the color is, but just having a broad network of people in different facets of engineering is we're really going to open up the doors because it's there that you can possibly see what types of engineering fields are actually out there. In civil engineering, from my experience, there are a lot, right? There are countless, but you can actually get more information about what it actually takes to be a successful engineer in those specific facets of civil engineering. And then you can go towards that. So I think that something like NSBE definitely helps you with being able to carve out your path and your future.
I love it. I mean, that is
Tiffani,
good.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
No, I mean, just want to put it out there. People who don't know about NSBE, make sure to check it out because it's worth it. It goes from K through 12, so that's the pre-college initiative, to collegiate, to professional. So either realm you go in, NSBE is a part of any journey you go through. So I just want to put that plug in as well.
Right. And I know that we have a national convention coming up. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go to this one, but I do plan on going to some of the other conventions. They're really fun. It's just, imagine just a huge room of people that look just like you, that are on the path to engineering, that want to network, that want to build. And you just see a bunch of different tables that are out there, different professionals that are telling you about different areas in which you can go with engineering. Now, whether that's software, civil, material, mechanical, like they have all of those things there. So let's move on to this next point here. Tiffani, can you tell us a little bit more about your radio show? I see that once again, you're doing something that is just monumental. And now you have a radio show that's out there. It's called the Read It Right radio show for anybody that's listening right now. Can you talk about how it contributes to the narrative of success for Black engineers?
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, so not only am I an engineer, but I want to get the message out there about STEM, science, technology, engineering, math. So I was able to create a Read It Right radio show. It's been going on a year and a half now. And basically, it's trying to break down barriers. I mean, breaking down barriers in STEM education and careers. I shed light on education, STEM education, opportunities, future representation, careers, and empowerment. So definitely, it's an opportunity. I interview from educators to STEM professionals to just trying to encourage them to get more of our kids involved with STEM, science, technology, engineering, math. So, with it being the underrepresented fields that are in STEM, especially our girls as well as underrepresented minorities in the field, the radio show allows for the opportunity to grow, to learn, and to be able to encourage and empower the next generation of STEM leaders through representation. And so I'm excited to always, it comes on every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on WDRB Media. And, to be a radio show host called Lady T is amazing. And so it's just encouraging because I know that the message is getting out there, especially highlighting the stories of, underrepresented individuals in these fields. It's aiming to inspire and motivate our listeners to pursue their passion and make positive impact in the world. And so I'm excited to represent with the Reader Write Radio Show to try to get more representation in the field of STEM itself.
Well, that's great. I would love to, come and just see what it's actually like being on a radio show. So maybe we can get some content one day of just like filming you as you're actually like recording your show and stuff. I think that'd be really interesting. And, I really commend you as well because, like you're holding down your job as a senior mechanical engineer for a huge company. And then you're also having books that are out there, which we're going to get into in just a few, but then also the radio show and being featured in different speaking engagements and stuff. I think that's really awesome. And now I want to get into your books that you have because I know that you have one. I don't know if you have any other ones that are cooking up right now, which you probably will. There it is. You got all those books in the background. So let's talk about you being an author. So you're the author of a children's book, and it's called What Can I Be? STEM Careers from A to Z, and also the STEM Crew Kids Adventure series. So how did these books contribute to celebrating Black excellence in STEM fields? And what gave you the inspiration for wanting to start these books? And also, how did you write these books? Did you write them and illustrate them? I know that that's a very loaded question, but I have so many questions about this. It's so interesting.
It's good. I mean, it comes with the territory when I said, okay, not only am I an engineer, but I'm an author as well. And so it's exciting. And what motivated me to try to inspire was when I would go to the classrooms and I would go talk to the kids because they're always asking us engineers, let's come talk to the kids. And so when I would go in there, I would ask the kids how many's met an engineer, and not that many hands goes up. But after I showed them the hands-on activities, I started showing them how engineering's fun. I would ask them how many's met an engineer. And at that point, all hands should go up. And so it was that moment, that was that pivotal moment where I said, okay, I need to put it in writing. And so I ended up doing that and created my first, it's an alphabet book. I kept it simple. I saw a challenge on Facebook. It was called How to Create and Build Your Own Best-Selling Book. And so I learned the process of being able to publish books. And so my first book was What Can I Be? STEM Careers from A to Z. And it's just the alphabet. It starts from A is for astronaut all the way to Z is for zoologist. And I didn't just do engineer. I said, let me do STEM careers. And so from there, I've been able to show, the whole diverse. There's so many STEM crew kids that are in there, the diversity, because we have to work with all different types of ethnicities and, genders and stuff. So the Black excellence is in there because they get to see the representation that's in there. And it stems off of my experiences as far as being in these careers and having to work with others. And so from that, I've been able to create colored activity books to different translations from Spanish, French, Swahili to Italian, to journals, to teachers' guides, to then now having a series, the STEM Crew Kids Adventure series, where now they're building different activities. So the first one is building a balloon power car. This next one that's coming up is they're building a magical spaceship. And so the sky's the limit on these children's books. It's been a great experience going to talk to these kids when I'm out in vending events, signing the books. I'm always writing, if you believe it, then you can achieve it. So that's where the celebrating, the excellence, the Black excellence in STEM careers is, because I want to see more representation in these fields. And so what better way than to put them in the books? Because growing up, I didn't see many books like this. I didn't see me in these books. And so now when these kids see me, one young girl, she came back, she says, thank you so much for being in the book, because she sees my picture on the back of the book. So not only can they be in these careers as an engineer or any of these STEM fields, but they can also write a book as well. So it's just been inspiring to see the process of doing it and being able to be on different platforms based off of the book itself, from TEDx talking about STEM to being on different Forbes and all different platforms, all because of book and leveraging the book to get this message out here for excellence to happen.
Wow, that's quite amazing. I'm actually interested in doing a couple of projects myself, so we'll talk offline about those things. But just that all of you guys know, it's coming soon from my part. But definitely get some of Tiffany's books that she has out there. I think that they're very interesting. I've taken a look at some of them myself, and I would highly recommend them. They're very, very well done. So did you actually coordinate with an illustrator, or did you illustrate them yourself?
So I've learned to stay in my lane. That is one thing in the process. I am not an illustrator. So what happens is I have a book team. So I have an illustrator, and then I also have a book cover designer to a formatter. And so I have a team where they all come together. So I work with the illustrator to be able to make sure that they knew where I wanted to come. Because it's technical items, I wanted to make sure they knew the style and outfits that you have to wear at different careers itself. So no, I did not do this drawings. I just helped write the book and then work with a book team where the illustrator worked with me to make sure it was fun and friendly, kid-friendly type of book as well. And so, yeah, this has been an amazing journey in itself. And so I love the question, of course. You loaded me with it, and I love it because it's a passion with it. And initiatives like these not only highlight it. So I'm excited to be a part of it, sharing my journey.
That's great. That's great. So hopefully one day we'll be, in a booth at an NSBE conference and stuff, just advertising our books and just getting it out there. Because I think that these are so important, especially to, pass through the schools.
Oh, yeah.
I imagine one day, just passing out some of these informative books that are created by Black engineers, young Black engineers at that. And then just passing them to the youth in the schools and, in the school systems. That way they can get that pre-exposure. I think that that's really important because that really changes the trajectory of where somebody's life is going to end up. Just those little nuggets over time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I love it. So let's shift some gears. You done ask me about my experience. We got to dive deep with you next. And so let's shift some gear. Let's discuss the significance of organizational affiliation, particularly with groups like the American Society of Civil Engineers, ASCE, we go these acronyms, and how can these groups help shape the careers of engineers?
I think that these are good. I've been affiliated with ASCE for maybe since 2011 or so as a student going back to school at Morgan State. And I think that it is just as beneficial as NSBE and being affiliated with NSBE, but I would definitely say that there are a multitude of purposes for these different organizations. There's other things like the Collegiate 100 that I was involved in, of course, ASCE, NSBE, APWA, which is another one for public works professionals. I think that these are very important to be involved in because you can get different information from the different organizations, and I find that to be very important. So while I might be able to have more of a relaxed time talking to others that I might relate with a little bit more at the NSBE conferences, and there may be like some more, I guess, quote, quote, fun activities like the, like the large interview panels and, like the interview rooms and things of that nature. I think that ASCE was very stringent and it taught a lot of we can have fun, but we also need to be very organized about how we do things. Now, one thing I like about ASCE the most is they're very, very active. Like almost every civil engineer is involved in ASCE to some capacity. So that's kind of the organization that we look to as okay, this is the top one that we want to always be involved in, period. I mean, there are speaking engagements that you can go and actually volunteer for to do a project or a presentation for. There are also research papers or white papers or just different findings in the civil engineering field that we've also seen at some of the ASCE section dinners, which are also very, very nice because if you are involved in it at an organizational level, some of that organizational affiliation takes care of paying for those dinners with your membership. So you go, you meet a whole bunch of different people that are in different fields. You learn something and you also enjoy a nice dinner as well. Some nice drinks to accommodate it too. So I think that that's a great time. They also have the young members group, which is also pretty good because you definitely want to connect with people that are around your age group because everybody is pretty much climbing at the same exact rate, right? So if you were to find somebody that is 5 years older instead of 10 or 15 years older, that barrier to that language barrier is shortened a lot more, and you're able to connect with them a lot more, and they may be able to give you some real-time advice as to how they got one level above you. Like, let's say that I'm an engineer 1 and I'm just starting off as an EIT, I might connect with somebody that's an engineer 2, and they can give me some helpful and sound advice for how they got to that next level and what steps they're actually taking if they were led by a project manager or something like of that sort in order for them to get to that next level, as I had just mentioned. So I think that ASCE is very, very important, but I would not distinguish between the two organizations at all. I would definitely get involved in both of them as much as possible because there's so much benefit There's also job boards that you can actually get involved in on the ASCE side and the NSBE side. There are also different subgroups. Like I know with ASCE, they have the Geotechnical Institute. They also have a Water Resources group too. And that just adds extra spice to it. It just adds another layer of like, how can I get more involved in this? How can I learn more and take more from this organization that I'm affiliated with? So yeah, I think that it's definitely helped me specifically with my career advancement, because a lot of the opportunities that I've learned about, I would not have learned about if it were not for ASCE. I would not have had my resume together if it were not for the people that were involved in ASCE that took time to look at my resume, correct it, give me recommendations. And also I practiced a lot of interviewing with them too. So like there was just so many benefits that I've gotten from there that really cannot be counted up. So again, the networking opportunities, there were so many different resources. There were award shows and presentations that they've had. There were community service initiatives too. Other ways to get involved, like the steel bridge competition, the concrete canoe competition, were also very, very big things. And then they also taught us a lot about ethics and standards and guidelines and how to uphold standard practices that every engineer should really uphold. So yeah, lastly, let's talk about the impact of traveling and volunteering in our careers. And could you give us some insight on how traveling has really broadened your experience and your perspective, and also contributed into your success?
Yes, traveling is amazing. It exposes you to diverse challenges. And then we also talk about the volunteering side of things. It allows you to give back to the community, which I feel is always important to serve. Both are enriching experience that not only, enhances your skills, but it also contributes to your personal and professional growth. And so I really feel it's important to travel. I travel within work, getting different work assignments. I've been able to take part in that. And then from the volunteer side, I'm always one who likes to give back. And so always with advice would be to take advantage of traveling as well as giving back.
Yeah, I would definitely say that I'm a giver as well. I'm a person that does like to volunteer a lot and get involved in other people's lives, because just seeing the impact of something that I'm contributing into, like having such a positive impact on another person, is really just a second to none feeling for me specifically. So, is there anything else that you want to mention on here?
Oh, I mean, when we talk about the service part, there is a quote from Shirley Chisholm who says, "Service is the rent we pay for the privilege of living here on earth." And so I definitely want to put that plug in as far as the importance of serving and making sure that you give back, because someone paid the path for you. So why not give back as well? And so, yeah, this has been amazing. Just my experiences and your experiences, just sharing how the journeys can be able to allow people to grow in this in this life of where we're going with this energy as far as trying to include Black excellence for Black History Month. It's been amazing to be able to speak to it. So thank you for the opportunity.
Not a problem. And, as always, you always come with such valuable insight. You're always doing something that's big. And, I really look up to you as well. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of our listeners do as well. So in closing,
can I say one more thing?
Yeah, sure.
I do want to give, as far as giving some resources, one thing is I do give you resources of free 10 STEM scholarships and organizations ebook, because I want to make sure when we put this out here that there are resources out there as far as our kids. And if we talk about giving back, I want to definitely say go to www.stemistheway.com and grab that free resource, because I want to make sure as we talk about Black excellence that we also get those resources out there. So that's what I have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So in closing, we've dived into the key aspects of success for Black engineers in the AEC industry. And we hope that this conversation in particular has both been insightful and inspiring for all of you guys and, as our audience. So from the essential role of certifications and licensing to the transformative power of community support through organizations like NSBE and ASCE and APWA, as we've mentioned, we've explored a lot of valuable insights today. So Tiffani's impactful initiatives that she's doing, like the books, I mean, she's got like 3,000 books or whatever behind her right now, the speaking engagements, the radio shows, these things really contribute significantly to celebrating Black excellence in STEM. And I'm hoping that this inspires a lot of people to get out there and do some different things, because we can all contribute. I mean, I know that there are so many different other Black engineers that are out there, Black women especially, that are doing a lot. Tiffani is one. There are a couple of other people that I would love to have on the show at some point in time that are running different podcasts in the construction industry, running different speaking engagements and talking to other people that look just like us that we can also get started. But I think that this is a very impactful conversation that I look forward to having many more to encourage that next generation.
Yeah, so thank you, Matt. And thanks for, you highlighted the importance of organizational affiliations like AEC and how they provide a rich platform for networking, professional development, and ethical standards. And as we celebrate Black History Month, let's carry forward these lessons and continue to amplify diverse voices in the engineering community.
Please remember that you can find the show notes for this episode at www.engineeringpmpodcast.com. And there you'll find a summary of everything that we discussed today, including all of the books, the radio show for Tiffani, and all of the websites and resources that we listed today as well. So until next time, I wish you all the very, very best in your project management endeavors. Take care.